Okay, since I do not have a fruit crusher, destemmer, I'm using the rolling pin, and I'm putting the fruit in a Ziploc bag, and I'm going to crush them and pour them into the bucket. And of course, no job you can do without a nice cup of coffee. So I'll get back with you, show you the crushing and what it looks like, and show you the process that I'm going through. At this point, the grapes have all been crushed, and all we have to do is just pour the fruit and the juice into the bucket. So, of course, here is the cooler full of Scuppernongs, and over here is where I'm pouring my crushed fruit. So this bag will go in there. 24 hours with a sulfite solution to sterilize the must. So I'm going to take the top off here. As you can see, we've got beautiful Scuppernongs, crushed. A little bit of water in there so that they can be stirred, but very minimal amount of water. Now in this, this has been sterilized. The wild yeast has been killed off, any bacteria or anything, so that you don't want the wild yeast to populate, because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. It might be good, it may be bad. So we're going to kill off the wild yeasts, any bacteria, and introduce a cultured yeast that we know the outcome will be more beneficial. So over here we have a sterilized spoon and our yeast. So we're just going to take our yeast and we're going to sprinkle it into our must, like that. Make sure to get it all. And we're going to take our sterilized spoon and just sort of push it down like so. A lot of people would have taken the Scuppernongs and would have, since these are not muscadines or red grapes, a lot of people would have just taken these right away and would have pressed the juice out. I did not want to do that. I wanted to ferment these basically as a experiment, to ferment these on the hulls, on the skins, so that they will get a richer color. Probably ferment on the skins for about I don't know, 5 days, and then we'll go to the grape pressing. Okay, this is my fermenter. This is where I've got my Scuppernong grapes. It's in the fermenter. The lid is not on tight. It's not hermetically sealed. I got a little napkin stuck in the hole there at the top, so no gnats or flies can get in. What we're going to do is punch down the cap. The cap is formed by the trapped CO2 gas as the grapes are being fermented, pushing the skins and the pulp up to the top and forming a cap. So you want to push that cap down 2, maybe 3 times a day. It does several things. It keeps the skins in contact with the juice more evenly. and it also releases some of the heat that is built up by the fermentation. So this is our Scuppernongs. I don't know if you can hear it. That is the gas escaping. When I push this down, you're probably going to see a lot of bubbles. That's the CO2 gas that is actually escaping from the must. So you want to punch the cap down so that you can keep the yeast in contact with the skins. Okay, so here we have our Scuppernongs that have been fermenting for about 5-6 days on the skins. Our Scuppernong grapes. Need a few things, you know, buckets, something to scoop and pour with, something to catch the free run juice. You need your wine press. A few things that you just have to have. And so I'll show you what happens. We're going to be scooping the Scuppernongs into the wine press and pressing it down. Okay, so let me get down here a little bit more at eye level. We're going to take our cup and we're going to start scooping our Scuppernongs, which in the free run juice and all that get stirred up and mixed in real good. The free run will be caught by the pan here. Got a little sanitization solution in there. All of the juice that you see in the fermenter is the free run. So we're going to scoop that out. We're going to put it into the press. Scoop the grapes in the wine press, and I'm using a strainer to strain out all of the pulp. You get lots of pulp, and so I'm trying to strain that out as much as possible at this stage, rather than having the pulp in the fermenter when I start increasing the alcohol content of the wine. So this is the free run wine, which is considered the premium wine, as opposed to the pressing. So a little bit more later when I get to the pressing stage, but right now all we're doing is just filling up the press with grapes and catching the free run wine, putting it in the bucket, and then we start the pressing. Okay, we have got a good bit of juice here. Wine, white Scuppernong wine. I'm going to show you the markings here. I'm getting about 1 3/4 gallons. I figure I'm going to get maybe 2 to 2 1/4 after the pressing, which is going to make a real good 3-gallon batch of Scuppernong white wine. As you can see, the press is not all the way up to the top with Scuppernongs. I just emptied the bucket on top so you see all of the seeds. What we're going to do now is put our pressing plates in, just like this. It fits real tight, so I'm going to have to manipulate it, but this is the way it goes. Okay, we have our press set up. I've put the pressure plates, the press plates on top. I've raised the ratchet head well above the basket so I can ratchet this down, apply pressure on the Scuppernong grapes, and we will begin our pressing now. So really all you have to do, this is a double ratchet press, so you have 2 pawls at the top. And all you do is a double ratchet, so each time you crank it down, you will begin to see more flow into the strainer. It may take it a minute, but you can see the action of the plate going down. The flow is beginning to increase a good bit now as we press the juice out. Having a wine press is extremely handy. It's less intensive, labor intensive. It's a very handy tool that's been around for hundreds of years. Mechanical, doesn't require any electricity or hydraulics. A very simple, efficient tool. Alright, we're going to let that continue to the pressed wine go into the strainer, catching the pulp. Friends, this is the way wine has been made for hundreds of years. You continue doing this until you get all the wine out of the skins and pulp. But you don't want to continue to press too hard. That will crush the seeds. The seeds is where you have a lot of the bitterness, and which is what we do not want in wine. I am just finished my pressing. As you can see, I have pressed the grapes down significantly. It gets to a point where you might be able to drain every last bit of juice out of the skins, but at what cost? I've pressed about as far as I'm willing to go here, and you can see that that's the very last bit of wine that I have pressed. Put this in the bucket with the rest of the free flow, and the fermenting on the skins with the white grapes is going to yield a really beautiful color to the wine, plus give it that extra bit of flavor. So you can see that it's going to be a really nice straw color when the wine is fermented and cleared. So I'm really looking forward to the finished product. At this point, we'll be adding about 4 pounds of sugar, testing the specific gravity with a hydrometer. And the yeast is already active in here, so it will probably just kick off fermenting within an hour. So that's going to be good. So I'm going to take the press apart here, show you the cake in just a moment. The what they call the cake is all the hulls that have been compressed down into a really firm, compact shape. All right, I've taken the wine press apart, kind of left half on so that you can see the inside workings of it. Just raised the ratchet head so that I could release the pressure. The purpose for the blocks right here is to raise that ratchet head so far above the top of the basket that you will be able to actually press down the grape skins to the point needed. Otherwise, the handle, the blue handle right over there, would bottom out at the top of the basket, and that would be as far as it would go. So you need to raise that ratchet head above the basket enough that you can do your pressing. Well, this is the cake. So as you can see, we can remove the blocks, the building blocks, the little toys of wine pressing. Take the press plate off, and there you've got our wine cake. It's compact. Probably have to have a screwdriver to kind of break it up. It's dry. Nothing else is going to come out of there. So there you have it. That's my video tutorial of wine pressing from my white Scuppernong grapes. Alright, this is my finished bottle of Scuppernong wine. This is what it looks like after 6 months of aging and finally bottled. I did not show you the bottling process or the aging process. I didn't figure anyone would really be too interested in seeing wine being siphoned through a plastic tube into a carboy. One really never knows what the wine is going to end up looking like, you know, coming from the wine press and going through the secondary fermentation, that kind of thing. But this right here is my finished bottle of Scuppernong wine. I'm going to show you the label that I put on it. And got a nice, it's corked, got a nice capsule on the top. Very beautiful color. I don't know what that rainbow-like effect is in the wine, but very, very, very good, very sweet, and turned out really nice. So there you have it. Video of the wine fermentation, punching the cap down, going through the wine press, and now the finished bottle of Scuppernong wine.